life is true for yourself. And so today we are calling it Free Flow Friday, where we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. So you guys, please feel free to jump in with a topic of something you want to talk about. But I'm going to go ahead and lead off with, how about Amber Guyger?
Yeah, my girl Amber Guyger, Missy Ann.
Missy Ann?
2019. The Missy Ann of 2019.
Right, and so they are cracking up. Listen, let's see here. And Brandon says she's speaking about my hair. Thank you. And
well, what's wrong with my hair?
I like it. Yeah, you get your little juices and berries. It's kind of crunchy though. It's a little on the crunchy side. And Jonelle says, "Peace, Queen Donovan and family. You all with the 70s mode. Power to the people."
Yes.
Hey, Gina, what's
missing
happening?
everything but the spoon and the basket on the wall.
Yes, and then the wicker chairs. We
yeah, wicker chairs.
And Jonelle says, "Y'all all got it cracking." Yes. Hey, Andre. And so anyway, we want to talk about Amber Guyger a little bit. As you guys know, Amber Guyger is a police officer who was on trial for murder. She murdered. It is what it is. She murdered Botham Jean last year. As you guys also know, it was weird that somehow she happened upon his apartment building, thinking that was hers. She walked in there and, as she said on the stand, shot to kill. And that's what she did. She killed him, saying that, I saw this big, dark,
scary black man.
Sort of, kind of, in a roundabout way coming toward me, and she shot him and she killed him. She murdered him. So this week, over the last week, was a trial. She was found guilty of murder with a possible sentence of 99 years. She was sentenced to 10 years. Some people are saying she's probably going to do 5 if she does any at all, because I guess there's this appellate process that she can be out on bond. I don't know if she is granted that. But so, much to a lot of people's surprise, she was found guilty because a lot of people thought she was going to get off. Even with the jury being 5 blacks, I think 2, 4 Hispanic and Asian, and then 2 whites, and I think the alternates were also black. And so even with the jury being in the favor of a guilty verdict, most people thought that she was still going to walk, because traditionally we know that white officers, especially when it's in regards to killing someone black, they typically get off. But she was found guilty, and so great. She's found guilty, got a measly 10 years. People ask me what I thought she should have got. I thought she should have at least got 27 to 28 years for the age he was when she murdered him. She should have at least got that, but I don't have any decision-making process or ability in the process, and so that wasn't even the most discouraging part, which we thought it would be. What was discouraging is, and you guys please chime in, is that we saw not only the brother who's 18 of Botham Jean, he gets
jackass, total jackass.
Well, I won't call him names, because I guess this is how I feel about it. I guess people go through the grieving process the best way they know how to do those things. Obviously, I have a problem with the whole forgiveness thing, but you guys saw, and a lot of people were in disbelief. He asked the judge, could he go give her a hug, and the judge said yeah, and he gives her this lengthy hug. It lasted for quite some time, and
because he's never been on a white woman before.
She's crying, and all of that, and then okay, fine, whatever.
See, okay, I just want to say this.
Mm-hmm.
That is the message. It's a wrong message that you send when you do that, because now you're saying, look, you can kill these Negroes and they'll forgive you. It's the wrong message to put out there. Never in a court system have I seen where you can get up and approach an incarcerated or in custody defendant and do that, right? Much less the judge, because that shows a bias by the judge.
Right, and so that's the other part. The judge, once everything was said and done, the sentencing and everything, she comes down off the bench and she's having this conversation with Amber. And then she gives her a hug. Then, from what they were saying, she offered her her personal Bible. She told her, "Oh, don't worry, I have 2 or 3 more at the house."
Yeah, don't worry, I'm gonna get you out of this. Don't worry. Because here's the problem people don't understand. And a lot of people keep forgetting. Texas is the murder capital punishment murder capital, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have laws on the books that there is no discretion. A black man can kill somebody for a similar type crime.
Oh, yeah.
They're in there for life.
Well, they're saying, too, that there was a black man who killed a police dog, and he was sentenced to 45 years.
Thank you. But when it comes to the white women...
Right.
We don't. Do you guys realize there's over 100 prisons, facilities in Texas for men, and there's about less than 15 for women?
Yeah, because typically, for whatever reason, it was more men committing crimes, but now women are starting, I guess, to catch up. I know, especially out here in California, black women are starting to be on the uptick as far as
and Hispanic,
and incarceration.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they said specifically black women,
yeah, but it's mostly drug offense and
right,
stuff like
prostitution
that,
and that kind of stuff for whatever reason. And so, the judge, hugs her, and they have a pretty lengthy conversation. She not only hugs her once, but she hugs her twice. And so everybody was just blown away by that. Like, wait, and then we're forgetting, because I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt, but we're forgetting the bailiff, who was a black woman, goes and she strokes her hair. And so I'm thinking, okay, surely...
Don't worry about it, Miss Ann.
But I'm thinking, surely she's looking for contraband. Maybe she's checking for contraband,
No.
before she goes back there. I'm like, there's no way this lady is honey, it's going to...
Yes.
It's real crunchy. Honey, it's gonna be all right. I'm thinking there's no way she's doing that. But so you got all these court gestures, because that's what they are at this point. You got all these court gestures doing the most for this white woman who has been deemed and condemned. Back in the day, they used to call prisoners the condemned.
Right.
She has been condemned as a murderer, not a jaywalker. Or somebody who did something or made a mistake. She's been condemned because they could have found her guilty on manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, whatever.
Yeah.
She's been condemned to murder, and they're treating this woman like she is a deity.
Do you know what really shocked me? The father gets up and says,
the daddy.
Let's be friends. And then they said, well, my brother would want you to be free. That's bullshit. I think your brother would want to be alive.
My thing is, why didn't y'all say all of that before the lady went on trial? Why y'all just not saying that? Because now y'all it's hitting.
Let's look for that check. Let's look for that check.
It's hitting home that now she's gonna go, do some time. So y'all gonna get up there, and I, try not to use the C word because we get in trouble. But it is what it is, right? I want to say it's devastating, but it was just like, are you serious?
Look for that pay period. Look for that check. That check is coming.
And so Tay says, what a bunch of bullshit. The sentencing of that murderer. Yeah, it was just like, oh my God. And Andre says, all this hugging and hair stroking, totally unprofessional. And I think that's what a lot of people aren't really talking about. That is unprofessional.
It is unprofessional, and then they're not upholding the rules of what's going on. That butter biscuit eating black woman judge, because I'm just describing what she's a black woman judge, had the nerve to bring up the what's it called, the hotel
castle rule.
Yeah, the castle rule.
The castle document.
How are you a attorney or a judge and you don't know the castle rule has no effect when you're in somebody else's house?
Well, some people are saying it was a good strategy for the judge, because had she not allowed the jury to take that in consideration, her team could have came back and appealed, saying that she wasn't offered all of the options. So they're saying that was good strategy on the judge's behalf.
But you weren't in your house.
Right, but...
So that would have been thrown out even if she did.
They went on the premise that she thought she was. So they wanted to take... I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
It is actually a smart strategy, because they wanted to take anything off the table, because anytime you appeal something, an appeal is done on new evidence, not something that was old. And so that would have given them an avenue to say, well, that wasn't on the table, so we want to appeal on those bases.
And of course that appeal would have been denied, but the fact of the matter, I know where you're going with that.
Right, but it was scary for a lot of people, because they thought, well, maybe they would consider and say, well, she was standing her ground.
Yeah, and it's kind of scary as a black person to think about that. Now these police officers can come into your house murder you, and then say, I was afraid for my life.
And that's what a lot of people, and I'm going to get to you guys' comments, a lot of people was afraid of that as well, because that would have set precedent, and that, if that, I guess it's never really that whole ideology of, well, I thought I was in my house, had never been to the court like that before, so had it passed, then other people could have said, well, hell, I thought I was home, and so I shot him.
Well, what I want to know, is what your girl Kamala, Miss White Supremacy Tool, had to say about this issue.
I heard about Kamala.
Isn't that funny?
Kamala
Corey, any of these butter biscuit eating Negroes, none of them.
Right. And Tay says, I just don't understand why the judge and bailiff had to act like mammies to that white girl. She didn't need a hug. She needed life in jail. Yeah, because my thing is, as we've all asked, well, how many black people have they come off the bench and hugged and stroked their hair and said, oh, baby, it's going to be all right now. It's just like, it was almost like, is this real? Is this fiction? Like, are we watching something that's actually true? Because this is not making any sense. Like, who is this woman? Is it Jesus' daughter? Who is she?
Here's a woman that was sexting. There are all these clues that you're not in your house. But see, what did I say a long time ago? And I say this all the time, everybody. There's a problem in the police training. They are training these people to be afraid.
Well,
and execute people. If the military was trained like that, there would be no way we would function.
Right.
No way.
Well, no,
and we're not saying be tough. We're saying you can't go in there saying my life matters more than you.
Well, especially you can't do that and go in somebody else's house. And then Brandon says, I feel they were trying to mindfuck us. Message, be docile. That's exactly what it is. Especially when we are telling you, like, yes, I do. Lately, I do get mad a lot, but I get mad because some of the stuff I see, like I've seen a lot of people try to explain why forgiveness is necessary. Well, Jesus said this and the Bible said this. You mean the same Jesus in the same Bible that they was whooping our ancestors' asses in the name of? That Jesus? Is that the one you talking about? And so here we are still in 2019.
Hello.
Being docile and trying to find ways and reasons to excuse massa for doing the most to us.
Wait. I got a question. Has the Goldman family forgiven OJ?
Right. Or the meme I put up the other day, R. Kelly.
R. Kelly, yeah. Where's the forgiveness for that?
Well, he didn't kill nobody, right? I'm just saying, if we
and OJ didn't kill anybody either, but they're still taking his stuff. Where's the white forgiveness?
Oh, how about your brother or your sister you ain't spoke to in 20 years because y'all didn't agree on the grandma's potato salad 20 years ago?
Sarah Cruzan, these girls that shoot their pimps, and what's her name, Brown, the girl danced with Centoya Brown and stuff. Right. But what about the forgiveness for them?
Right. And Jonelle says, no justice comes truly from a system rooted in injustice. Who hugs their family's killer in the name of Jesus? Like, who?
Thank you.
Who does that?
Thank you.
And I've had people say, well, don't you think you need to forgive to let go? Listen,
no.
I don't have to forgive you and still be able to let go and move on with my life.
Yeah,
but I would never say I forgive you for something like that.
Because nothing we can do is going to bring our loved one back.
Yeah, I'm going to forgive you for what? And they say, well, forgiveness is not necessarily for the other person, it's for you. No, that's bullshit. It is for the other person, especially in the case of Amber and the judge and everybody going to hug her. That was for her. That was comforting for her. I just don't want you to feel bad and know, oh gosh, you just going to take it like a G. It's gonna be all right now. I don't want you to. Don't you fret now. So I'm going with the
don't
wind
worry.
stuff.
Yeah, no, don't worry, Missy Ann. Don't worry.
Right. Hey, Marcus. She said, "What does my brother got?" Donovan. That's his
That's my 1970s Air Force look.
Yes, that he wouldn't have been able to wear in the Air Force. Okay.
In the 70s, I would have.
Really?
Yeah, they had them brothers, big old things out there, sisters and stuff. Afro.
He's going back down memory lane. Yeah, back down memory lane. And Tay says, did you see the brother and the jurors in Good Morning America this morning? I didn't see it. Tell us all about it. Tell us all about it, because I can only imagine. I don't even have the words. I don't. And Andre says from Chicago, and no, this behavior isn't in our black nature. None of it that happened in that courtroom that day. And it's like, maybe it is in our culture, because
we love Massa. We love him.
But not only that, from slavery.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know, and y'all know this, Massa was teaching us from the parts of the Bible that was applicable for you not slitting his throat after he just got through raping your mama. You know, you're supposed to turn the other cheek, and then when you go to heaven, you're going to be cleansed white as snow, take it all down.
What you mean raping her? Take off my boots, Kizzy.
Right. You know. So I want y'all to be docile and know that, and you know, and they read the parts in the Bible that said obey your master and all that other stuff.
They justify
it. So today, we still do that. Now I'm going to say this to you guys. When we see people posting that stuff or talking about what Jesus would want us to forgive, you need to tell them, get the fuck out of here with all of that. And I don't like using the F word a lot on camera.
Show me where Jesus said everything in the Old Testament is throw it out. Don't even worry about it. Because remember, in the Old Testament, you had the 10 Commandments. So, did Jesus say the 10 Commandments aren't applicable? Did he say an eye for an eye is not applicable? No.
Well, no, we don't go with the Old Testament no more.
But that's what I'm saying. Jesus never threw that out. Because here's the deal. Here's what he said. Quote. In the Old Testament, things are still applicable. They just are.
Well, I mean, so I agree with you, because you do hear people say, well, that's the Old Testament, you know, that obviously was before Jesus, and they was killing, making sacrifices and stuff, but Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice, so we don't need to do those things anymore.
Says
but it's
who?
like,
man,
I'm sorry. Let me get on with these comments, because I can go on forever. Brandy says, like My Little Pony, I must have missed a comment somewhere, so if I did, please forgive me. And Jonelle says, who gives the criminal so much love and consolation? Did she die? They know what they're projecting via hugs and the biases. They also know the atmosphere they're creating among their masses. I mean, the masses with these actions being demonstrated. Even the guard combing her hair. This is slave-minded projections to the fullest. It is the devaluation of black life. Absolutely. That's exactly what it said to the rest of the world.
Yes.
It says,
white
never mind.
Lives mean more so.
You can do whatever you want to do to us. Even come up into the church and murder 9 people. And their family will stand up and say, well, we forgive him. In fact, we don't want him to have the death penalty.
Right.
And this man has not, Dylan Roof, has not even apologized to this day. In fact, he keeps doubling down on why he did it, because he was trying to start a race war.
Yes, the Bible says, Jesus said this. This is what I was going to get into. Jesus said, it is best to forgive, but because he knows our hearts as human beings and we're imperfect, that if you must have revenge, it must be an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. You can't do more than what was done to you.
Right.
That was the law that was given. So it is not okay just to forgive somebody and let it go. If that's what you want to do, fine. But you can't be vilified if you want this person put to death.
My thing is, too, if you're following biblical principles, it says when you forgive somebody, you restore them back to where they were before they committed the offense to you. Now, how many people can actually do that? Because me restoring you as a murderer of my brother back to where you were before you did it does not bring my brother back. So to me, that whole forgiveness process is skewed.
And didn't they find on her text messages where she said, I can't wait to join the white supremacies? Right.
Well, she said she was a racist. She wanted her some racist German shepherds and all this other. I didn't even know they existed, but I guess. And then Andre said, stroking her hair, what kind of beloved mammy is she?
Exactly. Real quick.
Hey, Sydney.
Yeah, and and please keep the comments coming. But before we forget, I want to get to that white woman, Stacey Dash.
We will. You don't let us forget.
Yeah, don't let us forget
and
that.
Thank you, Marcus, for including the link. So for those of you guys that are on there, if you're watching this from a watch party, come on over to this side on my actual page and comment, because for whatever reason, I don't see the watch party comments, and I know that it's being posted everywhere, and I do every once in a while see the comments, but I just don't see them on this immediate feed, so please forgive me, but come on over this side, and I will see your comment, and I will respond to it. And Sydney says, hello. And Jonelle says, they're projecting so much. Turn the other cheek message is, you niggas get killed by whites and hug and forgive, because you're here just like Dred Scott, as Tanny said. A black has no right that a white man
will respect.
Should let's see, should respect Supreme Court ruling. So now they have free range, cause if you can justify manslaughter and home invasion, you can justify or address anything. Amber will be out in less than 3 years, if that much.
Oh, without a doubt.
I don't even think she'll do that much, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
If she might get out on appeal and she may win the appeal, because that. Trust me.
Trump is going to go ahead and...
Well, you got all these juries or people now. I've seen the brother get up, don't want her to go to jail, and the judge, Well, and what that also says is, well, she's not that bad after all.
Right. Even though she's shown her true colors and who she is. When somebody shows you who they are,
yeah, well,
believe them.
And I've seen Negroes talking about, well, this is just a human thing to do. She is a human being. I'm like...
So are we. So are we. Why is it that when they want to take the guns, the white people get armed and they back off? But when it comes to taking the black people's guns, hey, just take those guns. Yeah, that's fine. We could just disarm them.
Right.
No problem. So that we could just go now and just shoot them and see, for all we know, this was a test case to see if we were going to be outraged.
Well, they know we're not. They know listen, we don't have a problem as black people being outraged. What we have a problem is with being outraged and then taking action. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now, a lot of people have also said, too, that Botham Jean's family is not from over here. They're from St. Lucia or something like that.
Yeah,
so maybe they have
Caribbean,
a different way, of doing things. And plus, they were very engrossed into the church. It was known that Botham Jean would lead the choir and was, big time in the church and stuff. So maybe...
The man was shot eating cornflakes. Well,
we know that, but I'm saying...
Home.
What I'm saying is their family,
I know.
Is deep into the Christian turning of the cheek.
We need to stop that bullshit. I'm sorry.
I agree with you.
I'm sorry.
I agree.
There's too many of us. There's too many of us being killed. We've got to stop it.
Right. And Sydney says, I do not understand the hugging and fixing of her hair. Well, that's, again, to say to her... don't, Miss Ann, we feel so bad that you got to go in there and we just, if it was something I can do, I would, and the jury's probably like, huh? Well, why y'all didn't tell us all of this?
Right. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Before y'all waste all this taxpayers' money.
Yeah, I've been on this jury, wait for my work and stuff for 12 days, and you don't have a problem with her killing your brother.
And y'all having a kumbaya.
Yeah,
a kumbaya fest.
But like I said, unprofessional. I've never seen where you can go to a defendant in a criminal murder, Capital One murder case, and even approach that person.
Well, not only once, but twice. And like I said, when I saw the bailiff doing that to her hair, I thought maybe she was checking for contraband or something.
Now, think about this. Any other Capital One case, a judge goes down. You want to know why the judges don't go down and deal with those people? Because they're going to get shanked. Something's going to happen to them. Crazy.
I don't even have the words. And Brandy says R. Kelly was loving everyone.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I mean,
I hear you calling.
Because the same ones that want to get this white woman to pass for murdering an innocent black man who was eating ice cream, chilling on his couch in his pajamas. Black people want to give this white woman a pass, but
R. Kelly,
he is. R. Kelly is a monster. I'm not taking away from that. R. Kelly is
but forgiveness,
a monster.
Forgiveness.
No.
We've got to embrace Kelly.
No.
We've got to embrace him with our love.
Donovan, listen. When it comes to our own people, we want to hold their feet to the fire, and we want to burn all 10 toes off.
You're damn right. This guy is the father of my children. I'm going to put his ass under the jail.
Right, but when
because he won't be with me.
Yes, but when it's a white woman who kills black people, we want to forgive her and have this love fest and put up all these Bible quotes and scriptures of how we should forgive and turn the other cheek. I'll be damned.
See how civilized we are? No, we're the damn fools, and they know that. And they know that.
I just want listen. Tay says her whole job as a cop is to be aware of her surroundings. How the F do you walk up on and into someone else's apartment? Did it smell like your house? Was the decor the same? And like they said too.
Yeah, they said there was a red mat in the front, and in her apartment or his apartment there was a big table. So she should have immediately recognized.
Well, so that nobody will really ever know what happened between the time she went in the door or actually went up to the door. Why she ended up there.
I figured this out, everybody.
All right, now.
I figured it out. Nobody thought about this.
Your wig on.
Yes.
Yes.
The 70s, I'm not, the psychedelic drugs. I figured it out. Okay, if he was on the couch, how did she enter the door if she didn't have a key? That was his snow bunny. That was the side chick.
Well, some people say, I don't know how true it was.
How did she get into the apartment?
I don't even know if it came up in the trial, but I've heard speculation, not confirmation, that could have been the case. They said she lived directly under. I mean, nobody really will ever know.
Okay, no. Think about it. I just worked a 13-hour shift. I don't know what that had to do with anything. You work a 13-hour shift. You're coming home. I take my key out. I stick it in the door. It shouldn't work.
I don't know
if it's the wrong apartment.
Did she say that her key worked, or was it already open? Is from what I think they were trying to say.
But even if it's already open, you're supposed to be a trained police officer.
Something is not being. Something's missing. That's what I would say. And you guys, again, please, if you're watching from a watch party, come on over to my page and comment from that point, because I, for whatever reason, don't see the watch party comments. So. Brandy says no, not no microwave forgiveness. Right. Brother Larry Rivera, I watched his live and it was awesome last night. Mm-hmm. And he even made a good point. He says, listen, why not? Whatever happened to just waiting 3 days to say, okay, let me think about this whole forgiveness thing. Why do I got to do it right now? If that's something I'm leaning toward doing. Let me think about it and see if that's something I want to really do.
Because they're using the media to put out there to these stupid Negroes, this is what you should do. Let these cops get off. And I want to tell everybody before I forget, the cop union is watching this. Before they can say, hey, I feared for my life, go to the jury thing, and they usually got off, right?
Right.
But now with the outrage of all these police shootings, police officers are going to start wanting bench trials.
Right.
That means the judge. So if you had a butter biscuit eating judge like that woman was over there, just think if that was a bench trial. She would have dismissed the charges and said,
that's scary.
It's okay. And
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what's going to happen next. That's how these cops are going to get off, because the union is going to tell them, you do not want a jury trial. You want a bench trial. We've already got the judge in our pocket. They're for law enforcement and stuff. And so that's how you're going to get off. Think about it.
No, I mean, I totally agree. And then Jonelle says, just like the Joker movie, they are orchestrating via their movies and media the devaluation of our lives, no reparations, more or less hugs and etc. for the masses of black lives lost in this country for zero. Right? I mean...
Yeah. We as a people need to be afraid. Why can't we just go to the United States and do a treaty like the Indians have done, so that we can be a sovereign nation within ourselves and within individual states, so that we can just govern ourselves?
Well, because...
Well, I know.
Yeah, I'm saying, say, you know why? Because even if that was an option, which I love that, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Marcus Garvey,
just
Farrakhan, a lot
leave
of
us
people,
alone.
They've talked about that, giving us a land of our own, but the problem is it's not them. It's the other Negroes who are so in love.
Well, what I'm saying is not even you don't even have to give us land. Keep us the way we are, but my sovereignty is under the black nation.
Nah, because it's going to be somebody who want to be,
and of course I want to pay taxes.
I don't want to be separate.
Yeah.
My ancestors died.
Where you going to get a better house than you get here?
Right. They died for me to have the rights to do all of this, whatever all of this is. And Tay says... I'm so sorry of people saying
so tired.
This. What I say? I'm so tired of people saying this was a tragic mistake. A mistake is having 21 items in a 20 or less express lane. Yeah. So she made a conscious decision to pull out her gun, shoot, and not even render aid to the man, and choose to text her married lover. Yes, she said, because I saw that part where I forget who it was, but I guess she said, or they verified that she did have her first aid kit and everything else on her. Mm-hmm. So she had the means to save his life, but she didn't think about doing that. She, like you said, texted her married lover, which was she was doing from the time that she walked up to his door, texted her married lover and says, help, I need you.
Right.
And so was not concerned with, and they said that he didn't die instantly, that he was alive for quite some time.
And the first officers that did arrive immediately rendered aid, and the officer that was rendering aid actually was in the academy and the same class as Amber Guyger.
Well, and they also said, too, that the officers turned off their body cams.
Of course. What's the point of having a body cam if you can turn it off?
It malfunctioned. It malfunctioned. And Terry says, I can forgive, but I don't have to hug you, be your friend, give you gifts, visit you on Christmas, or call you my daughter, or comb your hair. No, absolutely. And I'm going to take it a step further, Terry. I'm not forgiving you.
No.
I'm not.
You kill my brother, there is no forgiveness. Matter of fact, don't let me see you on the street, because I'm going to do the same to you what you did to my brother.
And this might come off a little controversial, so forgive me if it does, but this is just how I feel, this opinion. A lot of times people say, well, if you don't forgive, what's going to happen to you if you don't forgive? You're going to hell.
Aren't we already there?
You know how I feel about it. What do I always say? I don't believe no black person living on this planet here,
and I believe that too,
and in the past
is going to hell,
and in the future is going to hell. I don't believe that. I don't believe black people can even go to hell. I don't think there's such a thing.
A lot of things that we do, in my opinion, is done for survival. Now, the black on black crime shit, they might be held accountable for that. But overall poverty that we have to go through, I don't know.
I mean no black person. Yeah. I don't think black people are capable of going to hell, because we have most of the stuff that's going on with black people, even the black on black crime, as people would say, is no such thing. It's not a thing. And that's a whole other
Everybody does it.
Yeah. But even that is a condition that was created.
Yeah, created. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
And so black people have gone through so much hell on this planet. I want to meet somebody who is gone. Say, there's such a thing. So the point that I'm making is I'm not even going to forgive, because I know how to let go and not forgive, And Sydney says, I tried to warn y'all. I tried to warn us about the sentence and the reaction on Facebook. Yes, you did, Sydney.
Yeah, you did. You sure did.
And Tay says, Botham's father said that he would like to be friends with the white girl because that's what Jesus would do.
How do they know that? Jesus has not spoken in over 2,000 years. How do they know that?
And then I've seen people say two-will is a good way to lead her and other people to Christ. And it's like, again, I know there's some people who are believers. Donovan's a believer. I believe other stuff. I just put it that way.
I believe in God.
Okay, there you have it. What has being led to Christ done for us? What has it done for us in all these years that we have been fed Christianity? What has it done for us?
And for those of us that do believe in this following Christ, Christ always was for the downtrodden and the people. Like we were in South Africa. You have all these people over here and all this extravagant wealth that call themselves Christians. Then you got all these poor people over here who call themselves Christians. How does that even match up?
Yeah, we're believing the same God, the same Bible, the same everything.
Love your brother.
Why are we
the greatest commandment?
The jacked up side of the tracks.
Right, but the greatest commandment is love your neighbor than yourself.
Well, if you come over to my country and hog all the resources for yourself, you surely don't love me. So that right there,
about it.
And hey, DeLeon, you say the shit, although infuriating, is a good wake up call to how deep the sickness is. I'm disappointed in the father and the brother. God,
watch for them to have a pay period. Seriously, because I cannot fathom anybody agreeing to what this guy was saying.
Donovan's got to go take care of some business real quick, so you're just going to be with me. And Andre says the Bible reads like Greek mythology. Absolutely. And those of us know, if you follow Kemet, you know that the Bible is really an adaptation of the things that happened in, ancient Egypt and things like that. So, again, I'm not trying to discourage anybody from following the Bible or Christ or any of that kind of stuff. But at some point in time, we have to just start using our brains and start really thinking that if Christianity is good for black people, why are we still in the same situation we've been in since we've gotten over here? How come we can't put two and two together and say, all right, this is the same religion, same Bible that Nat Turner turned up on. Nat Turner, when he found out the truth, he was like, wait a minute, we need to do something else. So how is it that we are following the same religion, but yet we don't have the same reality? That we need to be able to put those two things together. And Cindy says, just practice Judaism or Islam. Well, for me, I believe in there's a higher being. I subscribe to the laws of the universe, God, and all of that. I don't consider myself to be religious, although I have been in the past. And Terry says, true about the Old Testament, Dimitri. You have to rightly divide. Yes, 2 Timothy 2:15 says, rightly study to show thyself approved, rightfully dividing the word of truth. I tell people all the time, I do know the Bible a little bit. But you're right. And I think if most people would just follow that scripture alone, that would answer a lot of questions. But unfortunately, you have a lot of people who sit in church and they don't rightfully divide the word of truth. The pastor can tell them anything and they follow it instead of saying, okay, I've been a parishioner, that's what you call them, of this church for 20 years. They say that the building funds and all this is supposed to do X, Y, and Z. But as I come to the church, the community that the church is in is dilapidated and shambles. Sister so-and-so still catching the bus.
And when did the Lord ask anybody to build the Lord this big old church that he needs? If the Lord wanted the big old church, he'd build it himself. Yes.
That's just too much like common sense,
right?
You know.
I mean, he'd make a way. Like I said, where you're at in Rubidoux, that big old parking lot could be used to.
Well, they've been
fellowship.
They've been building another. What is it, a parking lot or a church for 20 years?
No, it's a parking lot. They were supposed to pave it.
Yeah, for 25 years or so.
30 years.
Yeah, this church is supposed to be building, and this church, the pastor has been on TV.
Yes. And he used to be a drug dealer.
See. Now you got
well, that's his testimony. That's his testimony.
I know.
All he did was take a power of his mouth of speaking, pimping, and moved it to the evangelical side.
And hey, Charles says, I feel we have forgiven them for slavery, and to this day they are still doing us bad and have no remorse for what they still do.
I don't forgive them for slavery.
And I
want my money.
There's a lot of Negro apologists out there, if you will. Well, slavery is over.
Yeah, we know, and I need my check for free work.
We need to pull ourselves up by the boot. That's Negroes saying this, okay? They co-signing all that nonsense.
Well, okay, I do say, we can't wait. We just can't sit there and wait and say, okay, I'm going to sit here and wait for somebody to do something. Like you always say, you can't depend on another man to feed you. In the meantime, while we're waiting for our check, you got to do something for yourself.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. But the problem that I have with the whole pull yourself up by the bootstrap argument, and again, if you guys are watching it through I was about to say a house party, a watch party, come on over to this side on my page, click on so you can comment. The whole problem I have with the whole pull yourself up by the bootstraps ideology is that it doesn't tell the other side of the story.
Right.
Because when you say tell black people to pull yourself up by the bootstraps,
the other people haven't done it.
Well, yeah, that makes the assumption that we've never done that before, and it negates the part of the story that we've not only been pulling ourselves up by the bootstraps, but we've been doing it even with white supremacy with their foot on the shoelaces. We've been doing that, and so when we say pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, tell the whole story. Right. Don't make it seem like black people are just lazy, because we're not. Right? I said, we're not lazy. We're just disappointed.
Yes.
And
we're still here. Thank God.
And Sydney says we are indoctrinated by religion. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you got some people, they scared to say anything ill, or maybe not even ill out of maliciousness, but just the truth about the pastor, because they think the doggone ground going to open up and swallow them up.
Yeah, I'm a Catholic, and but I'm not religious. I just tell people I'm not religious. I've been indoctrinated to Catholic religion, right? I don't understand how you can be in a church. The deacon is screwing the parishioners. The parishioners are coming in there. These young single girls having babies, and you're ordaining the babies and all this stuff in the church. One bad apple. I think it was Paul that said that. One bad apple spoils the bunch.
Right, but see, the other part of that, I think the Bible leaves off. And if you guys have never seen the movie The Apostle with Robert Duvall, please watch that movie, because a lot of times people look at the pastor as a deity, but the pastor is still a man. He's still human and is able to make mistakes. It is us that sees him as Christ. not Christ-like as people are supposed to be, but we see him as Christ, and he's infallible. He can't do anything wrong. And then when he does something wrong, then that messes us up. When our whole faith in God was never supposed to be rooted in man, it was always supposed to be rooted in God.
Right.
So anyway, and Terry says, where was the scripture that Donovan said? So it was about the eye for an eye. It's in the Old Testament. Deuteronomy somewhere, maybe?
Yeah, it's in one of the first 3 books. Deuteronomy or Leviticus. It's one of the other.
I know for a fact it is in the Old Testament. And Jonelle says, who has shown remorse for Black Nation as Amber shot that brother with zero remorse because the main concern was her job. So who has been remorse for the clear and evident mental slavery from, let's see, oops. These buttons are so small. Let's see. Remorse. Mental slavery from the white rape of us. Whites not even remorseful to make amends via reparations, separation, more or less any other method of atonement. But they're still killing us after 400 years and counting. And our foolish black asses are giving forgiveness and hugs. Too many black lips on our killers' asses. Amen. And that's it in a nutshell.
I cannot have said it any better.
And doesn't Jesus ask us to use wisdom? Because we keep, quoting all of these scriptures and stuff, but he asks us to use wisdom as well. And it's not wise to give the world a perception that black people's lives do not matter. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what it says, as to your point, where you see black people who are the victims absolving the murderers of them being a murder. That's what it says to the world. Oh, it's not that bad. Hell. But none of those judges hopped their ass off the what do you call it?
Bench.
The bench. When that black police officer in Minnesota killed that white woman, he is doing 20 years.
But isn't it funny how the blue line doesn't apply to black officers?
Right.
Isn't that strange?
And the black cops that killed the little boy in Louisiana.
Yeah. Isn't that strange?
I didn't see not a judge, and I didn't see their families. Matter of fact, the white woman's family's like, good, that's what he get. And not only that, they wrote her family a $21 million check. So where was the forgiveness and all that? But it's us. We got to forgive, forgiveness is what we do when we do that, especially in this situation. We absolve them of the guilt. No, you should go and feel bad and guilty in the act of what you did, because not only did you do it, you had no regard for this man. You continued to text your married lovers, and whining about what you going through. But never mind, you just took a man's life.
Yeah, did you hear what she said on the stand? She said, "My life has been ruined." Okay, but this isn't about you. This man is dead.
But even after hearing all of that, everybody got up, as Jonelle said, kissed her ass.
Yep.
I wish it was somebody.
Missy Ann, you's my bestest friend.
Right. Okay.
Hey, before we forget.
And then the daddy said he wanted to go visit her.
Yeah, he wants that. But before we forget, Claudine.
Yes. And I meant to actually say that. R.I.P. Rest in love, I should say. Diane Carroll.
Beautiful woman.
84 years old, passed away. Yeah. I call her an iconic actress. She played in first black female lead.
On TV. That was not a servant.
It was not, which is why we got to even say all that.
Yeah,
but it's the truth.
But talking about in the 70s, we were still playing those roles.
Julia, and then she played, I forget her character on Dynasty because I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was a child. Mm-hmm. And then, to me, the most iconic role of Claudine. You guys, I don't even need to go into who Claudine was. Check it out. It's on YouTube for free.
That's where the welfare blueprint is. So
as I said on the post that I made, that movie was made during the blaxploitation era, which blaxploitation films were considered bad for black people. But to me, I considered it a great piece of work. And you guys on the podcast, we're going to come back for the second half, so please stay tuned. I consider Claudine an important work because it did highlight a lot of things that went on in the black community as far as what black men went through to have to or try to be in there. Not that it was his children, but he being James Earl Jones talked about him not being with his kids and the things since he wasn't with his kids, he had to pay all his money, couldn't make ends meet.
And it also talked about how the government kept the black men out of the home.
Right. So it talked about those things. And so that's why, to me, that was one of Diahann Carroll's most iconic roles. I could be wrong, but to me it was. And so I just like to say rest in love to Diahann Carroll.
Awesome. If you haven't seen that movie, please go check it out. Go check it out.
And Cindy says she can't appeal since her defense was the castle doctrine. The law isn't, that's the law in Texas. That's what I was saying earlier.
Right.
That's